I'll first be talking about nonverbal communication and the overall effect that it can have within the business workplace. Communication is an essential aspect of business operations that not only affects the collaboration, the leadership, but also the business relationships that you build during this time. It can often get overlooked, but it's equally critical for conveying messages compared to both written and verbal communication. Facial expressions, gestures, eye contact, and tone of voice can reinforce, complement, or even contradict the words that you are trying to speak and convey the messages that you're trying to present. Effectively using and picking up on nonverbal cues allows companies to build trust, strengthen their relationships, and navigate diverse workplace environments that a lot of companies are trying to incorporate and also to enter in today's world. Next, we're going to be talking about the importance of nonverbal communication. Effective communication is the foundation of a lasting business today. Companies tend to focus a lot on verbal and written communications, and I understand that it is extremely important for companies to be put a lot of work towards these things, but nonverbal communication can often get overlooked because it has these powerful effects that it can produce, but if you aren't going to put the time in to get better at it, you won't see these effects. Nonverbal communication encompassing body language, facial expressions, gestures, eye contact, posture, and tone of voice are indispensable in conveying and interpreting messages. Organizations that can do this at an extremely high rate typically see more success in the long run. Now, on to understanding nonverbal cues. These cues are often more than just intentions, the credible words that are being spoken, or even the emotions that you may experience during a conversation. A firm handshake can establish trust alongside good eye contact, and assertiveness may convey confidence at the highest level possible. Crossing your arms or avoiding eye contact could lead the person/people to believe that you may be getting defensive about a point that was just made during a argument or a meeting, or the discomfort that you might be feeling. Understanding how to read nonverbal communication is something people take for granted, in my opinion. Yes, speaking in front of people and speaking with assertiveness and confidence is extremely important, but what if we could talk with more than just our words? Let your mannerisms speak for themselves and see what it does to a room full of people when you reinforce confidence during your meetings or phone calls or conference meetings. It doesn't matter. These silent signals are essential for business professionals to develop an acute awareness of their nonverbal behavior and lean to accurately interpret the cues of others.
Nonverbal communication in a business setting. Posture, facial expressions, and tone. You want to stand with a good posture. You want to have good facial expressions. And you want to talk with a good tone so people can understand you. Confidence. You want to speak like you understand what you're talking about so people trust you. And signals. You don't want to cross your arms or look off to the side so that you get your full attention. Cross-cultural implications. Confusing between cultures. Between cultures, you want to make sure that you don't do a gesture that another culture might not know. Reduce of risk mishaps. Implementing cultural awareness. Impact of technology. Reshaping communication. Types of technology communication like email, text, Outlook, handshake, phone calls, all those. And change of nonverbal cues. With technology, nonverbal cues have changed because we have emojis now, we have texts, and just like the way a message is conveyed over a text can be different than it is in person.
The power of nonverbal cues in negotiation. We often think of negotiation as being all about what we say, but sometimes it's what we don't say that can speak louder. Nonverbal communication plays a huge role in how we are perceived. A firm handshake, steady eye contact, and confident posture show strength, credibility, and control. Even small gestures like nodding or leaning in can be signs of engagement and build trust. Trust is essential in any successful negotiation. On the other hand, crossed arms, poor eye contact, or checking your phone can all be signs of disinterest, resistance, or insecurity. Good negotiators are intentional with their body language, and they use it to guide the emotional tone of a conversation. Now, mirroring posture or facial expression helps the other person feel relaxed and understood. For example, a calm, open expression creates cooperation even in tough talks. Silence is powerful. It shows confidence, invites reflection, and opens the floor for conversation. Environment matters too. Where you sit, how the room is set up, and what you wear can all send subtle but important messages. In digital communication, nonverbal cues don't just appear, they just change form. Tone is now shaped by punctuation, formatting, and timing. Even a delayed response can be misread as disinterest. That's why it's important to stay mindful, not of just what you say, but how it can be interpreted online or in person. In every negotiation, your words matter, but so does everything else. Nonverbal cues can be your secret weapon.
Cultural awareness and nonverbal communication. Cross-cultural awareness plays a key part in interpreting other cultures' actions with integrity. Employees must be prepared beforehand for interacting with other cultures. Each of the facets of nonverbal communication have key differences to be made aware of. Hand gestures in other cultures may mean completely different things. The gesture to beckon someone towards you may be exclusively used for dogs in some cultures and is extremely offensive. The use of physical touch will also differ wildly between cultures. A gesture we may consider friendly in the US would be to pat a child on the head. In some Asian cultures, the head is a sacred part of the body, and this touch would be considered extremely offensive. In the West, it is customary to use your right hand when greeting someone with a handshake. In the Middle East, your right hand is reserved for use when cleaning your own body, and the left hand is instead used when touching others or handling objects. It is also generally not acceptable for other genders to touch each other in Muslim countries. The use of the handshake also differs across cultures. In the United States, Germany, England, and New Zealand, it is most often used when greeting someone new, but in France and other European countries, handshakes are common to use with people you know well. Russian culture specifically does not allow for handshakes in doorways, and in India, the Middle East, and Asia, people may continue to hold hands after shaking hands. Japan does not consider handshakes to be polite, instead it is acceptable to bow, and the lower you bow, it indicates more respect to the person you're bowing to. Other hand signs also vary widely in their interpretation. The AOK sign here in the USA and France and Belgium means zero, and in Japan it refers to money. In Turkey, Spain, and Brazil, however, they view the AOK sign as extremely offensive. The sign, created by making a V with your index and middle finger, commonly means peace or victory around the world. While in England, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, and South Africa, if done with your palm facing outwards, it is seen the same way the middle finger would be in the United States. Eye contact in the West is treated as a sign of attentiveness and often truthfulness. Eye contact may be seen as disrespectful or impolite in many other cultures, such as Hispanic, Asian, Middle Eastern, and Native American. Native American students often have issues with teachers seeing their lack of eye contact as a sign that they are not paying attention, when really in Native American culture it is taught to avoid eye contact with elders, teachers, and others with higher status than them. Women making eye contact with men may be seen as a sign of sexual interest and is avoided by women in other cultures. Alright.
Yeah, so now I think I'll end this video, and then we'll have like one more.